Hello, welcome to VVAX Solutions tutorials. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use iteration in solving equations. Of course, iteration is used to solve complex equations. But for this tutorial, and for obvious reasons, I am using a quadratic equation to show the concept. In this tutorial, you are going to find the way to solve an equation. Also, you will find how to find the square root of a number through the process of iteration. So, this is how iteration works. Suppose you have a function f of x, and I have sketched the two functions like that. So in this function, you can see the function changes its sign from positive to negative in this region. And in this function is the opposite. It changes from negative to positive in this small region. That means on both occasions, there is a root of the function in this range. So we are going to use this fact in the process of iteration. That means if a function changes its sign from positive to negative or vice versa, there is a root of the function in that region. Suppose this is my function f of x equals x squared minus x minus 3. Now I sub in 2 into the function and I get minus 1. So the function is negative. I sub in 3 and I get 4. The function is positive. So that means between x equals 2 and x equals 3, there is a change in sign from negative to positive. So that indicates there is a root of this function or a solution in this range. Of course, with this method, we can only find a narrow range where a root could exist, but we are still far from finding that root. There are some exceptions to this method though. So here are two. In this case, clearly x equals 3 is a root. However, there is no change in sign. On either side, the function is positive. Now in this case, the function changes from negative to positive. But we never say x equals 0 is a root, because it is simply an asymptote. In the process of iteration, you need to rearrange the function in this form, x equals g of x, where g of x is also a function of x. So let's say x squared minus x minus 6 equals 0. This is our function, and we are supposed to find the root of this function using iteration. So first of all, we need to rearrange this function in this form. In other words, we have to make x the subject. So x can be made the subject in 3 different ways using this function. For this particular example, I am going to use this form. That means x equals root 6 plus x. So my iterative formula is x equals root 6 plus x. So once I get my iterative formula, I am turning this x on the right hand side into xn, and this one on the left to xn plus 1. That means if I know x of n, xn, I can find xn plus 1. Yeah, so I got my iterative formula. Xn plus 1 equals root 6 plus xn. So the next thing is, I must find a range of x where the root could exist. So for this particular tutorial, I have written this uh, small program in JavaScript to do that. So let's do it. A solution could exist between x equals 2 and x equals 4, or x equals minus 1 and x equals minus 3. So I'm going to use x equals 2, or then I will use x equals 4 again. And let's see how iteration works. Now as x note, I'm going to give the value 2. Now I'm going to iterate this 10 times. So I got my x1, I got my x2, x3, x4. Now you can see x value is approaching a fixed number, 2.999933333. Yeah, so the root is x equals 3. Now I'm going to change this number into 4, and I'm going to do it again. Yeah, x is still 3. So you can see whether we start from this end or this end, we still approach the same root. Right. Now I'm going to show you another example and leaving you with the opportunity to practice this interactively on this page. So I'm going to give the link under description. In this case, x squared minus 10x plus 5 equals 0. So that's my equation. So I am rearranging it in this form. Xn plus 1 equals 10 minus 5x over n. Now I am going to iterate this using my x naught as 7, 8, 9 or even 10. And here is the applet. So this is the iterative formula. I use x naught as 4. Let's see. Yeah. So you can see the answer is 9.47 to 2 dp because x value is now almost constant. Now I'm going to change this to 7, and so I'm going to iterate again. Yeah, it is still 9.472 and these numbers. So it's 9.47 to 2 dp. So I'm going to change this to 10 now to check whether there is a change. You can see it is still 9.472. Okay, it's 9.47 to 2 dp. So when you write your answer, it's essential that you write the approximation now like 2 dp. As I said before, iteration is normally used for complex equations. We don't use iteration for quadratic equations because it's too simple. So in this example, I'm showing you how to use iteration to solve a cubic equation, and you can slowly follow the steps. And you can do iteration using Microsoft Excel as well. So please have a look at this animation, and then you will learn how to do it on Excel. In addition to that, you can practice iteration using Python. Since I'm from a software engineering background, I could write just 6 lines of code to do iteration using Python. And it's very simple. And in this case, it's just 6 lines of code. These are these comments. To use this applet, all you have to do is you can change this value, which is the x naught. And if you want to iterate it many times, just change n. Now in this case, I'm going to iterate it for 10 times, so I use 11. So let's see. Yeah, so the root is x equals 2.3 to 1 dp. Now if I want to do it for 15 times, I just have to change to 15 and do the same thing. You can see it is still 2.3. And if you want to start with a different initial number, different x naught, just change this. So I'm going to change this to 4 and see how it works. You can see it is still heading for 2.3. Yeah. So this is using Python, and the applet is on my page, and you can practice. And iteration can be used to to find the square root of a number as well. So to do that, so this is the simple maths behind it. Let x squared equals n. N is the number of which we are going to find the square root. So then I divide both sides by x. Then I add x to both sides. Then I divide it by 2. So I'm doing all these steps to get the right iterative formula. So this is the iterative formula. Now you can take x as 1 and I iterate using Python. So here I'm going to find the square root of 31. You can see it is 5.56776436,283. And again you can round it up, 5.621 dp. And if you want to find the square root of, say, 5, just change this number. And this iteration you can start with 1. That means x naught is 1. It's up to you and about how you're going to start with. But in this case, I made it 1. Let's see. You can see the square root of 5 is 2.2422 dp. So this is the web page in which you can interactively practice iteration. I hope you will enjoy and share it with your friends and colleagues. Thank you for watching.